So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we will go ahead and begin. My name is Zainab, Zainab Chaudhry, Chaudry. I'm the Director of CARE's office here in Maryland. And on behalf of CARE, I'd like to welcome all of you to this morning's virtual news conference that was convened by Maryland Muslim leaders and organizations in order for us to be able to announce this joint letter offering reaction from our collective organizations in one unified voice in response to the weeks-long Israeli aggression that we have been monitoring and witnessing out of the Middle East over the last couple of weeks. The format for this morning's news conference is going to be, we're going to have Mr. Asif Hussein, who is the president of the Montgomery County Muslim Council, read aloud the statement itself. Then we will have Mr. Jamil Johnson, who is here on behalf of the Prince George's County Muslim Council, who will read aloud the names of the organizations and mosques who have signed on to the statement. And then we will open it up for Q&A. Otherwise, if there's no questions, then we will go ahead and conclude. So without further ado, I will kick it off to Brother Asif Hussein to take it from here.
Excellent. Thank you, Zainab. Can everyone see me?
We can see you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Good morning and assalamu alaikum, members of the press and other organizations joining us today. My name is Asif Hussein, president of the Montgomery County Muslim Council. On behalf of over 20 Muslim organizations representing over 400,000 Muslims in Maryland, we welcome you today. To get us started, we'll read the statement which we have jointly signed with regards to the recent actions in the Palestinian occupied territories. We, the undersigned Maryland Muslim organizations, strongly condemn the recent actions of the Israeli government, which have sparked violence that has led to over 240 deaths and rising, including those of many children. These actions violate human rights, international law, and the norms of civilized conduct by nations. Key actions include the illegal forced expulsion of several Palestinian families from their homes in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of East Jerusalem, the desecration of one of Islam's holiest sites, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, during the holy month of Ramadan on its holiest night, the ongoing blockade of the Gaza Strip, which has devastated its economy, deprived its residents of livelihood, freedom of movement, access to water and electricity, and a blocked trade and commerce, things we all take for granted. These actions represent a continued escalation of years of oppression, violation of Palestinian human rights, illegal annexation of Palestinian land, and many other actions which are not in conformity with America's highest values. Many of these actions constitute war crimes, as determined by highly respected organizations such as Human Rights Watch, and violations of international law, as determined by the United Nations. We urge the US government to immediately press Israel to stop these expulsions, halt the illegal appropriation of Palestinian land, and begin an immediate process of conforming with international law and universal human rights in all Palestinian territories, including Gaza. In addition, we should immediately cease to supply to Israel of weaponry and armaments which are used to implement these actions. We also urge the US government to hold the Israeli government accountable to the same standards of conduct that it applies to the rest of the world. We are asking all of our elected representatives to take a principled position, uphold American values of humanity, liberty, and justice, and not remain silent in the face of this injustice. At this point, I'd like to ask my friend and colleague in this effort, Jamil Alam Johnson, to name the organizations which have signed on to the statement.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Thank you, Brother Asif. Thank you, Sister Zainab. The Muslim community in Maryland is very united on this issue between us and our allies. And I would like to name the organizations that have signed on to this letter. The Anne Arundel County Muslim Council, the Frederick County Muslim Council, the Howard County Muslim Council, the Montgomery County Muslim Council, the Prince George's County Muslim Council, United Maryland Muslim Council, Bash Feron from Baltimore County, Islamic Center of Maryland, Islamic Society of Germantown, Islamic Society of the Washington area, Islamic Community Center of Potomac, Council on American Islamic Relations, Office in Maryland, the Islamic Society of Baltimore, the Noor Center, the Muslim American Society of Maryland, Muslim Voices Coalition, Indonesian Muslim Association in America Center, Progressive Democrats of Howard County, Muslim Community Center, Hartford Islamic Center, Islamic Circle of North America, and the Islamic Community Center of Laurel, all sign on in support of this letter calling for justice in Palestine.
Thank you so much, Brother Jamil and Brother Asif. And we urge our elected leaders again to take action. The ceasefire is not enough. We need our government to stop supplying US tax dollars to fund the ongoing occupation and the oppression of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Again, this is not just a foreign policy issue. This is a domestic issue that impacts so many communities across the nation. And it's not enough for us to simply just say that this is unjust and for us to continue with business as usual. As you can see from this letter, this is a joint letter signed on by a diverse coalition of organizations and mosques who have expressed concern with the ongoing oppression and military occupation and the apartheid that's occurring currently that's being funded by our tax dollars. So we urge our elected leaders, to take action, to take swift action, and to take these concerns seriously. We will open up the floor now if there's any questions. If there are no questions, then this will conclude this morning's news conference. You can also post in the chat if you would like to share any comments or any questions. We'll give it a couple minutes, and if there's no comments, then we will go ahead and conclude. This letter will be available on CARE's website, as well as, I believe, Brother Asif, will you be posting it on MCMC's Facebook page in case anybody wants to access the text?
Yes, it's actually already been posted. If there's any updates, which I believe there may have been in terms of additional signing organizations, we will update it on our Facebook site as well as on Montgomery County Muslim Council's website as well. I urge all of the other signing organizations to do the same.
Excellent. And it sounds like we do not have questions, so that will conclude this morning's news conference. Thank you all to the leaders who joined us, and we encourage you to continue sharing the letter with your networks and your communities. And we make the that this effort is successful, and we are united in standing up for justice against oppression and occupation in Palestine and everywhere else in the world. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.